Thank you for joining me. My name is Amber Moore. Welcome to Real Boys Talk. Tonight, I have a special guest. It is Cicely Moore. She is amazing, and I want to share her with you guys because I think some people sometimes those hidden jewels we need to start uncovering them, right? Let them bling, let them shine, bright as they can be. So today we are going to have Cicely Moore on, and Cicely, please, because you wear a million hats, I want you to tell us what all do you do?
Hi, well, thank you for those compliments. I really appreciate that for sure. Cicely Moore again. Um, Hats. I am the founder and president of Gamma Alpha Psi Fraternity here in Baton Rouge, expanding to here in Louisiana. Let me say that expanding to Texas and Georgia as of now. I am the author of a new book called Mask Girl Magic, which is also a book featuring local mask presenting lesbians because I thought that was super important. I'm a wife. Um, I am. I'm just me. Like I don't really. I guess you could call them hats, but for me, like they're not hats when it's something that you enjoy doing. I enjoy people. I love people. I love our community. So for me, it's not really necessarily wearing a hat. It's just me being me. But I love all of that.
Well, I'm glad. So I'm glad that that this is you, the many sides of you, because we need that, right? We need you as a role model to those who are just trying to figure it out, right?
Right.
So let's take it from the beginning. You started Gamma Alpha Psi fraternity in, make sure I got it right, 2006.
Correct.
And what brought you to what was it that you what did you see or not see that made you say I have got to bring this organization to the forefront?
Okay, I will start with the C. I played basketball for McNeese State University. There was not a lot of visibility, not a lot of anything that we could really identify with, but we just were a a close group of friends, just like hanging out. And it's like, okay, I don't feel like I fit in any of the D9 organizations because just out of fear, really, fear of being rejected, fear of, keep in mind, this was 25 years ago as well. So it was just like fear of rejection, fear of, and not only that, we were just trying to figure it out ourselves. Like nobody gave us a rule book on being a lesbian or any of that, especially in Louisiana, in Lake Charles. Like it was none of that. So for at that time, I felt like it was just something for us to belong to, some a safe space for us. And so it was just a want then. I later moved to Baton Rouge about 3 years later, where most of the ladies that I played basketball with, all of the other three founders were from this area. I moved here first, and when I moved here, it became more of a need than a want. And when I say that, I encountered people who were okay with their identity. They were like fully okay with themselves, but they didn't see the other side of life. Like they felt like just because I'm a masculine presenting lesbian, like I can't go to college, I can't do this, I can't do that. So for me, that's when it became more of a need. Like, okay, we need to um, do this. We need to have a safe space for women and just kind of let them see and show them that listen, we went to college, it was nothing for us, and you can do that too. So that's I would say that's when it became more of a need
Okay. Now let's over
in
the
my
course of
eyes, anyway.
time, how has that need grown, or have we fulfilled it? Do you see it being fulfilled? Do you see that you still got that your org has said, look, we feet on the ground, we've been here on this ground and we're going to keep pushing forward? What is it that you all are you still having that same, I know you have that same foundation, but what are you seeing now?
I would say foundation the same, but the need will always be there. Um, and when I say that, like even the difference is now we the older generation, the intergenerational members, I would say that we are in a place now where we can give back more, whereas 10 years ago we were searching. Like we were searching for answers, searching for so many things, but now we're in a place where we can kind of give back to the younger generation because it's like we've been there, done that, saw this, saw that, and we can kind of help those that, but the need is always there. And I feel like intergenerationally, like we can learn from them and they learn from us as well. Because as an old lesbian, like it's a lot that I don't know. I can't really identify with, but like some of them like, oh no, like this is this. So I feel like it's circular. You know what I'm saying? Like it's circular and it never stops. And I just feel like the need will always be there. So at some sort, because like some of us are transitioning to places where we have parents that are transitioning. So it's like it's a safe space. It's a it we need that. Like there's some of us who have been there, some of us that can help those along, just whatever it is, having kids, being married, whatever it is, like it just doesn't stop. It doesn't ever stop.
Tell me some things, because I know the audience that's listening might not know about your org. So I really want to make sure that we that 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 your organization, first and foremost, is one of the older organizations, has had that, longevity, which is a rarity, as we both know in the community, but it's amazing. So I want you to be able to tell us about what some of the things that your organization does, and what's coming up.
I will say this. We have been grounded for a very long time, but we also went inactive for a few years. And I will say that that was a period where a lot of us, like some of our key members, were starting their careers, graduating from college, moving away. So the foundation was starting to be scarce. But we, after about 5 years of being down, we all kind of grouped up because we would all still kick it. We'd all still hang out. Most of us, some of us, those that are social, we did stayed in touch with each other, but we saw and felt the bigger need in just like one day goofing off, like, hey, let's have a reunion. So when we had the reunion, I think that was like 2 years ago. For the reunion, we all came back. Like it was super exciting for me because I hadn't seen some of the members in a long time, and it's like they were flying in from Chicago. And it's like, wow, like if I never thought much of the organization, not that I didn't, but like my lenses are a little different from some of the members, because it's like M Alpha Psi did this for me, and it's like, wow, I didn't know you guys felt that way. So like, let's soar, let's do whatever we can do to to get back on board. But I really feel like that time that we were laying dormant was a time where we all kind of um went healed and laid dormant and got the things that we needed to come back and pour back into our organization and pour into each other as well.
Awesome,
It
awesome.
was a need.
So, what do we have anything that we need to be putting on our calendar?
Locally, one of the things that I really enjoy and I really feel is needed is we do a thing called Wind Down Wednesday, the last Wednesday of each month. And we group up. We have a clinician that's there, and we have a different subject every month. And we just kind of talk all things mental health. And I feel like in our community, that is huge. It is needed. And with that, like, I think in our community, people felt like, oh, something is wrong with me, or something has to be wrong with me to go to therapy. And it's like, no, I mean, just being a human being in this world, like therapy is good, therapy is needed, and nothing is wrong with you. So just adopting that concept, I think, has really helped a lot of us for sure. Um, I've been to therapy before, but even me um, coming back just to kind of get this set up for us was like, you know what? I need a therapist again. And so, it's needed. I love it. And even some of the members, or even some of the people that like, it's open for everyone. And it's a really safe space, and it's a really needed space. And even if people don't share things at that moment because they're still fearful, they will go one on one and ask the therapist, and everything's confidential. They may, start using her services because she's also a queer clinician, and she can relate to us and some of the things that we've been through. I know sometimes people have a hard time finding that therapist for themselves, but it's like she's Black, she's a woman, so all things relatable.
Okay,
So that's
and
that's one of my favorite things that we have going on in the organization for sure. Our Founders Month is next month, which is June, and it's also Pride Month. We do have some events coming up. Not necessarily all of them have not been nailed down yet. We are going to participate in New Orleans Pride, where
Yes.
we will see everyone. We are also planning to go to Atlanta Pride. Like that was my first year last year attending the Greek Pride.
Hmm.
Phenomenal. Like that was much needed for me for sure because it's really good to, in my opinion, to go and see other ways of life and the way that other people do things because that's how you grow. That's how you stretch yourself. And like even going to Pride last year, even though it was only we were few in numbers, like it was like this is real, it's authentic, and I loved it, and I can't wait to come back.
Awesome. So I know, um, like I was gonna make sure that you got that New Orleans pride in because that is technically, I feel, and it's just me saying it. That's you guys are our we're guests to you guys. Even though I know there are some other orgs that are also hosting it, I just feel like that's your home. So I know you guys are gonna really show out. I know this. I've seen it. If you have never seen them show out, please understand they do, and they do it well. So I'm always
Sometimes too much, but it's okay.
but y'all hey, I give credit where credit is due. Hard work.
Definitely
It
appreciate that.
shows. It shows. Um, and that leads us into I know you made statements about being mentally healthy, us as masculines as well. And I know that's one of your things. And so that leads us into you being an author. How, please tell us how that came about.
Actually, being an author, it's so crazy because I remember being in first grade and my teacher asking me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And God knows I said an author and was like, I hate writing. I hate my handwriting is horrible. But it's just crazy how you can manifest those things at such a young age and it comes to fruition. But actually becoming an author came to me out of a place of healing, actually. Um, I struggled a lot with being a leader. I'm very shy. I'm just that person that I just want kumbaya, right? That's my personality. So even starting the organization and even being in leadership, like I never um really wanted to be a leader, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I just wanted to coincide and be in cohesion. That's all I ever wanted. But it's one of those things where it's like I may want one thing, but God said something totally different. So just that transition and realizing that this time around, if I wanted the organization to grow, that I had to do things a lot differently. And doing things differently meant that it came with a lot of unwanted feelings, unwanted um, encounters. So in a place of healing, it was like I prayed about it, I talked about it, I journaled about it, and it was like, people, places, and things just started ushering into my life that was needed. And so that's where the authorhood comes from, just being in a place of solitude, a place of being centered and trying to really figure out like, what is this about? How can we make this grow? How can we make it work? And how can I separate myself from just being an enabling friend and actually holding people accountable for what they do, how they do, and helping them grow? Because I didn't have that, like me, like just being in those spaces, it's like, okay, it's just kumbaya, but it's like, no, there's a bigger purpose for the organization, and we have to walk into that. But walking into anything and committing to anything comes with chaos. And so just becoming an author was a part of that. And God sent all the right people in my life at that time, including you, actually, believe it or not. Like, even though I don't talk about it much, like going to Atlanta Pride, like that was the best event for me at that moment. So it's like reaching out to the masculine presenting women that I feel like God brought into my life at that time. And because those are my y'all are my local heroes. When people think of heroes, when people think of it's like, oh, you have to do something tremendous, like be a professional basketball player or what. But for me, it's totally different. It's just like someone that is willing to touch the lives of others in our community. And that's what we're doing.
Okay. And I'm gonna step back real quick because you made a statement and I want people to understand. And I say this a lot about, and I'm a founder and you're a
Right.
founder. So when I say this, I know this is gonna resonate with you. People think that this is a glorified job. We're gonna be really clear about this because I'm gonna use some words, some adjectives. It is not. It's not glamorous. It's a lot of fucking sleepless nights. It's a lot
Yeah.
of being on your phone. It's a lot of babysitting. It's a lot of holding hands. It's not glamorous. And those
At
people who
all.
think that they can just wake up and go, oh, I'm gonna create a fraternity or sorority. Please
Woo!
stop.
Speak on it,
Please
please.
stop, because I
Please.
know, and that's, and once you realize that it is not, it ain't no paparazzi following us, guys.
No,
And we
no,
don't get a check for this. So I know that the
absolutely not.
hard work that we put in to have the years that you guys got, I know the work has been put in. And please note, and I'm going to say this as well, being dormant does not mean you didn't grow. Right? I know that you said when y'all came together. So when y'all came together, I'm pretty sure you saw all that growth of the quiet moments that
Right,
you had taken.
absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
okay, so let's get on this mask girl magic, because I also feel like I'm in spaces where there are black girl magic, but I'm not included. So when I
That
saw the title of your book, it just made me go, oh, we've made it. We've made it. So
we
please tell us about the book.
so again, I will say Mask Girl Magic came, it just came to me, and it's like, we're black, we're women, but we're masculine women. How many times, like, people don't see us, but they see us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
People
yes.
don't see us, but they see us. And it's one of those things where I'm just a firm believer that we were, no, I'm not going to say are, I'm going to say we were the oppressed. But in most families, in most, we're the golden kids, we're the goat of our families, like real talk. And it was designed that way because it's like, okay, for the black women, for our mothers, we have sympathy, we have grace, we give them that because we can identify with that. But also for the men in our family, we can identify with that. But people don't understand the emotional torment that we do, or that we've done to ourselves, just trying to, like, look at me, like, like, because we're shunned because of what we look like. Whenever
Yeah.
we walk out of our doors, all of us are not just looked at as black women, we're looked at as black lesbians automatically, especially masculine presenting.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's like, for me, it was like, I just wanted to give something to pay homage to all of the women that are like, we're really doing this, and we're doing this for free. We're doing this out of love. We're doing it because we really sincerely want our community better. It's politics with no politics. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. I like that. What are you looking, is there future books coming, or was this just your one moment of, I got it out? Or do we have a future of seeing some more of your writing and some more of of books coming? I mean, I don't want to tell if it's a surprise, you know what I'm saying?
It's
But
listen,
if
it's
you
no surprise,
can,
because for me, I would never take the credit for this. I wouldn't have any stories if it wasn't for the ladies being trusting me with their stories. So I do feel like it'll be a sequel because it's so many, and I tried to fit so many in one, but I know time didn't permit for everyone to be a part of it, you included. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like it'll be a sequel. I've had some thoughts about, and some like ammunition behind me about doing like a docu series. We just need to be seen. We need to be heard. And people just need to realize who we are, what we go through, and why we're not here to hurt anyone. Like, we're the goats. We
yes.
really are. And I will, like, I can't say that enough. I can't.
Awesome. So leading into, you also, like, we all know that there is the founder, now there's the author, but you made something that was very interesting. You made a statement, or you have another side of you, which is a wife. And to talk, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about what, as a masculine, we know that there's, the joke is, hey, the U-Haul pull up, second date, all that kind of stuff. So for me to hear that you're married, first of all, that is already a major accomplishment within our community,
Absolutely.
right? And so I really want you to, if you don't mind,
I don't.
talk to about your marriage, and any advice that you can give us that's out here that are looking to get married or in their relationship now. Because I know I understand that, I will say this also about you and your wife. Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful
you.
couple. But I know that's work. I
Woo!
know that's not something that, I know that y'all got out the car and you said, she said, don't talk to me. And you went, ah. And then, but when we see you, It's amazing. But I understand that that's work. So please tell us a little bit.
Woo, so much work. And I will say this to say that when I think of like when I went to therapy, I just want to just to I went to therapy. My therapist was like, "Whoa, you have a lot of heavy shit going on," and I'm like, "Do I really?" I never thought of it because I try to do all things in harmony. You know what I'm saying? I don't no balance harmony because I mean there are some weeks, there are some months that the scales aren't balanced. My wife probably gets sometimes the least of me, really, in
Mm,
all fairness, but because she is has identified with my calling and that's the thing. um Being married is no walk in the park. It is no you have to be willing, and it's one of those commitments. And I'm a huge believer that with any commitment comes so much chaos, but it's up to you if you're gonna stay in the game or not. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like commitments are hard. um One of two of my biggest commitments is my marriage and Game Alpha Psi for sure. Two of the hardest things I've ever been through in my life. I'm a peace whore. I just want peace at all costs. But they're also two of the things that I'm the most proud of. Um, and when I say that the return, it's not it hasn't always been easy, especially in the beginning. We have been together for 15 years and married 11 now. Uh,
and that right
no,
there, people, that's
no.
200 years in lesbian world.
Do
That's
you hear
200
me?
years they've been married. They've been married for 200 years.
And
Please go.
I feel all 200 of them. And
And
I guess
you wouldn't trade it. I know
I
you wouldn't
wouldn't
trade it.
trade it for the world. And I guess the biggest thing is just being intentional about your relationship and understanding that we grow at different phases. So the person that you married or was in a relationship 2 years ago was not the person that you are. Like, you just have to be super committed and willing to go through all phases with this person. There will be times where one is up, one is down, mentally, financially, physically, whatever that looks like, emotionally, and you just have to be invested, totally invested. And I feel like that's where um, sometimes in our community we lack. The first time of trouble, we want to run first. Like, listen, there are no rules in commitments. That's the first thing. Just because your last relationship worked this way, that does not mean this is not a cookie cut situation. Like, this is a totally new person, a totally different person, totally different background, totally different experiences. So you have to explore your person, explore your experiences, and see what that looks like for y'all, and make sure you check in constantly to see where you are and see where you're going, and make sure that like we at first I hated this. My wife used to, well, let's have family meetings every, and I'm like, a family meeting? Like, what you mean? But it's like we would sit at the table, and it's just like, how are you feeling? I I'm okay. I'm the type of person where she's the talker. I have to kind of decompose a little bit. Like, come
Mm.
in, walk in the house, and just kind of let the day off of me silently and by myself for about 30 minutes. Then we can revisit. And at first, she did not understand that at all, but she understands it now. And so it's just like that understanding and that, like, knowing your person, sincerely knowing your person. And once you do all the footwork and all that, it's like walking in harmony. Like,
Awesome. I just think that to me, I mean, I know that's what everybody wants, but everybody don't want to do the work, you
it's
know?
the work. It's
It,
really the work that it's the lack of work that I feel like nobody wants to really get to understand anyone. And I will say this, even in leadership, even in being a founder, that is one thing that I had to do. I had to learn everyone, learn where they come from, their backgrounds, and because I want to know how to connect with you, and I want to
absolutely.
know how to, because what is one thing for you is something totally different for someone else. And if a
Absolutely.
person doesn't feel like they have a connection, they're gonna fall off.
You better say that. You better
Very
say
quick,
it. Yes,
very quick.
it's so
But
true.
for me, I want to know how to connect with you. I want to know, what you've been through, what your experiences look like, because I don't want to bring up your triggers. I don't want to trigger you. I don't want any of that. Like, I want us to be able to be functional. And when people see that you're invested in them, the return will always be great.
Awesome.
But it's
So
so much work.
It is, and that goes for all of the things. And
That goes for all ships.
Exactly. And I find it being now that I'm in a little bit in teaching and stuff, I'm finding out that the generation, these younger generation, they don't see the work. They don't want the work. They just tell me the answer. No, you got to work. Well, how you work out the problem? You got to work out the problem. They don't want to do that piece. So I think that that's good that you are that type of leader. That let's work this out. Let's work it all the way out, because then we don't miss anything. We make sure that we cover all our bases. And of course, healing and healthiness is what is a goal that we all need within our
Right.
organization.
Because that's the only way it's going to work. Because I will tell you this, 10 years ago, it was I don't want to say a clusterfuck, but I mean, it was just, you know, I, my unhealed self was a people pleaser. And just now realizing that you can't please all people, but you can connect and put it out there to get people to understand perceptions, and we're all different, and we're just gonna move in harmony. And that's really all you can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what we're going to do now is I want you to tell them, and I'm sure that you are preparing for. Are you all doing a summer line? Are you going to do a winter line? What's the next thing? If somebody wanted to join and get more information, what's next on what? How can they find y'all? And what's next? Is there interest meetings? What do they need to do?
Um, I will say this: we have just this is our first expansion to Texas right now, first expansion. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm very intentional. Um, we don't have a line coming up now. We will be having a line in Texas next, but I'm the person, it's about quality and not about quantity. So I mean, we're in no rush to get a new line here in Baton Rouge. I mean, here in Louisiana, but we just had one cross in December. But
Okay.
I'm just a firm believer in investing in those that have just crossed, making sure that they're comfortable before we try to just bring in new people. We want to make sure that the new people are fed, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
Uh,
It does.
uh,
It
and
does.
um, and so, but still, interest. We are always taking interest. www.gammaalphapsi.org, GAMMAALPHAPSI.org. There's a slide on there where if you're interested, someone will definitely contact you, and we'll just, even if it doesn't happen tomorrow or the next day, or even this, if you're invested in it, this is really where you want to be, then you will wait and until we are ready to
Absolutely.
to do that. Because rushing into things and just creating things just to get numbers is not really a thing. Because it's more than numbers. We now, don't get it twisted. We have been there before where it's like, yeah, let's take everybody all the time. Whoever's interested,
Absolutely.
come be here. But I mean, there is a fit for everyone, and we just would like for everyone to explore their options, because wherever you are, you need to be comfortable and you need to be
Absolutely.
okay there.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I think that and I encourage people all the time. Do your research. Do
yeah,
your research. Go hang
yeah.
out with,
Go hang out.
like you said,
Right.
go to Wednesday wind down
Yeah,
next
wind
end of
down
this month.
with.
You got the was it wind down Wednesday? I'm sorry, wind
No,
down
no, no.
Wednesday.
You're good.
You need to go to that. If you even have an inkling that you are interested in this fraternity, please go hang out with them. They are not that. Please understand, they're gonna say come, because they want you to know who they are too. So
Right.
this is a great opportunity for you
And
to
we want
learn
to
if
make
you
sure
are
you
fit.
really want to be here.
Absolutely, because they don't want to waste your time and they don't want you wasting theirs.
All that.
Um, and that's not that's not being ugly to nobody. That's being real. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
especially in this day and time, I do not want to play with nobody.
And
And I
don't want
know,
nobody playing with us.
uh-uh,
Absolutely.
we have worked too hard. Yes,
Right, absolutely.
Um, and so with that, so we found that part. Where can I get the book? Tell me about where I can get the book at.
All right. The book is at www.moore love, more love, less hate, two O's for my last name in the more love, less hate.com.
Okay. And all of this again, guys, if you're listening, this will be in the description of this show. All of her contact, everything that she's mentioned here, we are going to be putting it out there. You'll even see it when we do the promos for this show. If you haven't seen it, you will be able to see it. So we will make sure that you can get the book. Everybody needs to get the book. We need to get the book. Support those because we want her to write more. We want her to expand, and we want others to be able to tell their stories because
Thank
it does
you.
make a difference.
It
Hearing
does.
that you're not alone and some of the things that, whether good, bad, or ugly, knowing that you're not alone in it makes a major difference. And we don't
Absolutely.
know who's going to heal from reading your book.
Right.
So that's why we
And
all need to have it. We all need to have it on our bookshelves. We need to have a copy, you know. And then also, before we go, is there anything else that you want to tell the people about?
um I will say this. I'm not a huge promoter of the organization, of myself. I just want people in general, like I'm kumbaya, right? So I don't ever want people to feel like they have to be a part of us or a part of this to come to us. Like whatever you're going through, just make sure you reach out to someone. Life is lifing for everyone. Even if you're not interested in being a member, just reach out. Don't ever go through life alone or make or feel like you're alone. Like there is somebody for everybody. And even within the organization, that we are a very eclectic group, right? we have listen, we have thugs, we have whatever it is. I don't want to listen from the top to the bottom for
Absolutely.
no, seriously, doctors, Lord, whatever you want to be, just don't ever feel like you're alone. And I just really want to encourage people, especially in our community, like reach out, let someone know what you don't have to tell people your business. Just put your hand up and say, listen, I'm drowning, so that you can have someone to be there for you. That's so important. That's so important in these days. And I feel like people just kind of go by the wayside because they feel like no one is relatable, no one is there for them. And it's like there's somebody for everybody. And even if we can't help you, we can connect you with someone who had and that's why connections to me are so important. Because like if I can't handle it, or if I'm an empath, so emotionally, if I'm crying my eyes out and that's not what you need, guess what? We have somebody that can do. Like there is always someone. Even if I call you or some of the
Absolutely.
amazing women that I've met, even in the Greek industry, you don't have to be it, but we are here to serve our community in any way, in any capacity. So I would definitely say whatever you're going through, whatever is going on, or even if you need assistance from us, like just reach out. There is someone that we could connect you with at all costs.
It's very, you're very honest with the fact that it is not about being a member of your org. It's not about buying your book. It's about that
No,
we know as masculine presenting, we're older. We know that and I tell this to people, I've learned from my younger crew. I've learned from them and they've learned from me. And if we don't share,
right,
if we don't call and say I need something, or can you
right,
listen to me, or how was your day, just to get off
right,
what I had, then we're never gonna get. We need to stop,
right.
as you, and I know you know this, we need to stop going in the club, looking and patting our chest and being
Yes,
hugging
yes,
each other when we are all in this together. So I appreciate you taking the
absolutely.
time out and telling us who you are, what you're involved in, what you're doing. Because I'm telling you, she understands that she is a role model. And I know that sometimes we don't want to be. Sometimes we
Right.
don't want to be. But guess what? Just being who you are, whether you had the title of founder, whether you had the title of author or wife, just being who you are a role model to a lot of people, and we appreciate you.
No, I
So I just
appreciate
want you
that.
to keep doing what you're doing. Let us know, in any way what the next step is, so that here, Real Boys Talk, the podcast, can support you in any way. I know I'm gonna see you in June, and I know I'm gonna see you in
Absolutely.
Atlanta. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate you taking the time out to, tell us who you are, and introduce us to the different hats or different people among, that you are, different versions of you. And again, if you need to find her, I'm going to give you guys all the information, and take some of the stuff that once you read her book, give the book to somebody, go buy somebody that gift, and then have a conversation about it. Don't
Absolutely.
let it just sit on your chest or on your mind. Share your thoughts about her book. Share what you've heard here about her. Go out there. Hey, hit her up. And if they want to find you on Facebook or Instagram, how do they do that?
Facebook is Cicely, last name Moore, Cicely Moore. Instagram is Cavalier with a K, Kavalier01.
Awesome, guys. I appreciate you,
I
everyone. I hope you
appreciate
have a
you.
great day. And hey, we're gonna bring some more people to y'all that are gonna be your mentors, people that are out here shaking and moving stuff. All right. You all have a great time, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.